welcome back to Witchlight in Wesmia. We are back. I am DM Wendy J. We have ourselves Bread, we have Carney Circus, we have Spencer with us, and we are waiting on Jackson, but he's going to show up, I'm sure, here in a moment. But we're going to get going because we want to play. So we are kicking off where we left off, and where we left off was kind of exciting. We had our characters meet up in the port town of Roru, which is in southwest Wesmia, where they were able to prevent a lady with her baby in hand from completely losing control of the horses and that she was currently riding. Finally, finds out that the horses were detached from a cart that her family had. Her family was kidnapped by reportedly goblins. And the party, who had just met for the first time ever in Roru, decided to come in and save the day. So off they went to go find out how the family got kidnapped. Go back, found themselves at a cave. Noticed an individual who happened to be working, some sort of humanoid working with the goblins. The humanoid managed to disappear. So they entered the cave to see if they could figure out where the people were. As they did so, they encountered many a goblin. And the most important, the most significant of which was a bugbear that dealt a significant quantity of damage. And so it was Elred that received the biggest brunt. Once all of the goblins and the bugbear was dispatched with the clever use of some acid spells and body positioning, they were able to dispatch all the goblins on site, get to a point where they were able to release one of the captives who seemed to know a little bit about what was going on, came over and revived, albeit in a very DM's being a kind guy kind of way, to revived Elred Spartax as well. So we had, and we're going to get that back up in there. There we go. We got you are currently there, as is Scrags and Shimo. Elred is currently unconscious. So, what would the three of you guys do?
I think it's time to start opening some cages, getting people out of the cages.
Absolutely.
And I say this aloud as I go to unlock the first cage.
Okay, so you go to unlock some cages, and in the cage that the one person that has already been released, the other fellow can come out there. He's kind of a younger male human, not kind of low 20 age group kind of area. In the other cage, there's a whole bunch more people in there. One somewhat elderly fella, another one is you get a child in there around 8 years of age, I'm guessing. We'll go with two ladies that are in there as well. One of them is a little bit older, probably about the same age as the older gentleman, and then another younger, lower 20-year-old lady in that. So you open up the cage and they all come out. The older gentleman speaks first and says, thank you so much. But are you planning on going all the way in?
I was unaware that there was more to explore. What else do you know about it?
Roll a perception.
Okay.
Yeah. Roll a perception check.
Gotta get my sheet all loaded up here. Perception. Oop.
Sure. Oh yeah, you can hear. They're not nearby, but you can definitely hear there's still tunnels coming off to the. I'm gonna say it's the east. To the east of this particular chamber that you're in, and you can hear evidence that there are definitely goblinoids of some sort, chitter and chatter, but they are a long distance away and they're quite a ways into this hill. Yeah.
I think it's most important. Oh, sorry.
The older gentleman says, well, there's lots more.
Well, I think it is most important that we get you all to safety. Are there more prisoners deeper in, or is this it?
This is as far as I know. I doubt it. It I I don't think that there's a lot of. We haven't seen a lot more activity in there at all. Nobody goes past us except for these people who are these ones who are supposed to guard us.
I think it is best if we just get you lot out of here and back to town. First and foremost, possibly requesting help from town in the future to squanch the rest of this cave.
Absolutely. And he turns and he starts kind of gathering some of the other people. It's obvious that this must be the patriarch of the group. But you also have this other much older gentleman, still kind of leaning over to Elred.
What was the name of the woman who was in the cart in the first place? I can't remember her name for the life of me.
Milivent.
Milivent. I'll ask them if they
Actually,
know Milivent.
you don't actually know that. You guys never asked her name.
Oh, I did.
Well,
Oh, did you ask? Okay.
Yes, I have it in
so
my
it was
notes.
say, hey, what? Find out. The woman. Don't know her name. I don't care her name. What? Are we looking for these people, or what are we looking for?
Well,
Why don't
whoever.
you roll and actually, Scraggs, I'm gonna get you to quickly roll for me. I've wanted to roll this one for a very long time. We're gonna do an intelligence-based insight check.
Hey.
So if you have proficiency in insight, you can still add your proficiency bonus, but you're using your intelligence modifier instead.
For me, on who's doing that exactly?
That would be Scraggs. That would be
Against the woman, or just to remember the information?
against. No, just a general roll.
Oh, okay, I'll just roll a d20.
Yeah, roll d20, and then what's your intelligence modifier?
0.
Okay, and are you proficient in insight?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, so you get to add your proficiency bonus to 11.
Ooh.
In particular, the younger boy that's in the group, the 8 or 9-year-old boy that's in the group, bears some facial resemblance to the lady that you saw in town.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, my character is more concerned about just getting everyone to safety and less about who specifically is Milivent's family.
Yeah, I'll start looking over the corpses.
Okay, go for an investigation check.
I would.
You,
Okay. Go.
Sorry, I'm just going to quickly get this one to you. The older gentleman that's leaning over Elred. He kind of looks up to you and just kind of sits back against the wall, thumbing this white coin that he now has in his hands. And it's just kind of regarding you. How strong are you?
I would like to say that I'm not strong at all, really. And then I kind of turn towards the body.
Hello.
That would be correct. What will be happening to my comrade here, actually?
He should wake in about an hour, I would think, but this is not the place to wake up.
That appears to be true. Know you a shorter exit from this cave than the one we entered in.
I unfortunately was not conscious when I arrived.
I see. And then I turn to the rest of the party.
You
Not everyone looks very strong.
I mean, my character looks a little.
interesting. They all look a little beat up.
Oh.
Yeah, they look all, and all of these prisoners, they look a little beat up. But even, actually, the most with it person in the group of prisoners you've got is probably actually the 22-ish-year-old lady. She's probably got the toughest metal left in her.
I will turn to the lady. Excuse me, miss. You appear to be the most what's the word? The most capable of the individuals in this cave so far. Actually, can I see the lady? I am in the dark. I can't see the lady.
Yeah.
I can? Where is she?
Yeah, you. Well, we have a. I mean, Elred was carrying a torch, I think, and so the torch is still there.
Pick up the torch. That way I
Okay,
can
you
start
now have the
seeing
light.
things.
I'm gonna move the light that I currently have on Elred over to you then, so that you can walk around with this torch. What do we got here? Okay. Cool. Let's get you some light, shall we?
Ah, yes. Time to begin being a useful member
20
of the
feet.
party.
Hmm.
There she is. Alright. So then I turn to the lady and I go, "Excuse me, miss. You appear to be the most capable of the individuals in this room. Might I request your assistance in carrying my comrade out? That is, of course, once you're all freed."
And I can do my. And she looks over at Elred, and she kind of kind of leaves this heavy sigh. Do my best. And she kind of ushers off the 9-year-old over to the elderly lady that's with the group, and goes over to Elred, and then looks back towards Shimo and says, "I won't be able to do this on my own."
Absolutely. Carrying a massive paladin is certainly a two-person job.
Um,
Roll me a strength check, if you will, please.
Athletics?
Athletics.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, with
I-
advantage.
with advantage,
Ooh,
because you've
there
got
you
this
go.
other person helping. So
No,
go
I
for it,
was going
strength.
to suggest if Shimo could help you look around this place, and I will go and deal with the wolves in the next room. Because I'm still, it's not concentration for the disguise self spell, so I still look like a goblin. So I'll
Great.
try to, yeah.
For a little while longer,
So
anyway.
I'll go back and deal with the wolves, and you
Okay.
guys, if you can find like what's around here. I mean, they've got to have something, and maybe take the weapons. We can sell them, and I'll go away.
And you say that as just as Scrag is leaving, you realize that Scrag was kind of muffling and rummaging around the goblin and bugbear corpses. Wasn't really successful in a lot of ways. You didn't notice them picking up anything off of any of the goblins. So if you wanted to, you could always try to loot the bodies.
I would like to do so.
Okay, roll
My
your
reason being,
investigation.
I don't trust the raggy man anyway. Tuning myself once more, DM, for that sweet
Rock.
guidance.
Yeah. Fine tuning yourself.
Yay.
Adjusting my eyes.
Nice. So yeah, you do find the goblins themselves had very little on them. You can find their scimitars, you can find crossbows, but these goblins obviously had a job, and it was not carrying money. The bugbear, on the other hand, you were able to kind of sift through what now remains of this acid-dissolved bugbear, and while you aren't able to find a lot, you do happen to find the pouch that it was carrying that had this coin kind of tucked on the top of it, which is what this other elderly gentleman now has. Seemed to manage to escape the acid, and so you discover in there. Let's go like. The equivalence of let's go for max, why don't we? You find the equivalent of 8 gold pieces in his pouch.
I kind of just tuck this into my little coin compartment. After all, the conscious individuals in the party are constantly fighting over the money, so I'm just gonna set that aside. And I look at these weapons.
Usually a coin compartment, do you like have a drawer?
Yes.
Something like that it goes in?
Yes, I do. Just a little thing at the side of my
That's
waist.
brilliant.
Pop it open. Drop whatever is in there. shut it close, and then I look at the weapons and I look at the prisoners in the room, and I say, just for precaution, are any of you capable of handling weaponry? And I try to smile.
The 22-year-old gentleman says, I can handle a bow. I'm going to get you to roll an insight check on that, by the way.
15.
You don't believe that he can handle a bow.
Your deception might serve futile. Would you like to be more honest with your response? After all, the safety
Older-
of many are in the hands.
The older gentleman kind of goes, I wouldn't recommend counting on us.
I see. Best for everyone to stay close then. And I turn to Shimo. What shall be the plan?
Worry not, you. Worry not, you. We can defend them ourselves at this point. We just must hurry before the creatures in the depth return.
So, Scrags, you get out to the wolves, and they kind of look up to you, and don't seem to have their hawks up anymore. They're not really on edge at all. They're looking at you as if they're expecting something, though.
Yeah. I am going to reach into my pack and get them another ration each. Some meat. And I will then proceed to so that's 7. I'll proceed to open the doors and let them out.
For the wolves?
Yeah, leaving them
Oh, you have a key?
smell me and saying, all right, get out. I'm a goblin, right? Get out. Get out. And hopefully they...
Fortunately, I have the key.
Oh, I will go back.
So you're examining these locks to see if there's an easy way for you. I mean, you can always try to pick one if you want.
Oh, wait.
Except for
No,
probably
no.
one of them, which has a bone jammed into it.
Yeah, good luck with that one, buddy.
That's right. So you'd only be able to get one out.
I
Fortify them
will go back
specifically for you.
and ask for the key. I need the key. Just doing some stuff.
Why on earth do you need the key? Are there more people further in or on the outside?
Well, I want to get the wolves out because, it's not good to be held up. I have a soft spot for captured creatures. I just want them out.
I'm going to have to decline. I am not within the healthy range to be fighting
They're not gonna
rabid
attack
animals.
us. They're just going to let them out. I'll even escort them out. I'll bring them out in a lead. Outside, let them go, and that'll be 2 less wolves.
Can I insight him?
Yeah, you certainly can. Scrags, you get to decide, and you can actually do this as a whispered roll if you want.
I will
but you can decide-
choose to fail that roll.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. You're
Okay.
giving it all up. There you go. So,
What are
does
you doing?
you believe you, Scrags?
I am honestly leaving the wolves go, trying to get them out of the cave and out into freedom.
So you guys, you detect with your particularly high awareness, you detect that the tone of Scrag's voice is wildly different than it has been pretty much since you met them, and you don't hear even the remotest sense of tension in the voice. This is pure unadulterated openness.
From our encounter with the wolves previously, DM, do these wolves seem trained enough to attack anyone that's not a goblin?
Ooh, you would have to. You know what? You would have to go to the wolves and try to figure that out for yourself.
Would I, if I
You
use
could.
some animal handling, would I be able to tell if I let them out, whether if they think I'm a goblin, whether they would follow me outside and run away, or whether they are trained?
Yep.
Okay.
You can certainly try.
Try an animal handling. 12, and I maybe would have given myself some guidance. Maybe? Yes? No? Okay.
Oh, you didn't say it first. You didn't say it first. You gotta say it first. Yeah, you get the sense that these wolves, they're not necessarily trained, but they're not malicious either, except for the fact that they're caged up.
Okay.
They actually seem almost like puppies while they're
Yeah.
fed.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, as I said, I'm just trying to leave them out. I'll bring them outside and let them go. No, go free.
Very well, but ensure that they don't get into this direction.
And the older gentleman,
No, I will try to.
says,
I'll
"Agreed."
try to lead them out. So can I? Can I have the key, please?
I do believe in group decision making. If that is what you desire, who am I to stop you? But I believe we should keep the young and the civilians in this room whilst you do so.
Everyone who agrees with me, hands up, and I'll put Eldred's hands, and I'll put it up, and I'll put one of my hands up as well. See,
The older gentleman that had the white coin, which I don't, Scrags, I don't know if you've clocked it yet, but he just kind of puts his hand up, looking at you and smirking, with the many wrinkles that fall off the smirk.
that's a nice coin you have. I have a coin as well. Right. Anyway, I'll take the key, please. Hand it over.
I drop the key into Scragg's hand.
What an idiot.
I'm going to stay in this room.
All right.
And I will go, and I will. I
already
open the door.
a fireball DM, so if any wolves come into this room, I'm firing at them.
I am guiding
I'm gonna
myself.
I'm gonna ready a mean kick in case that any wolves that enter my attack range, if they seem at all in any way attacking.
I'll
Okay. So, Scrags, you are with that animal handling check. You've got that the scrap of food that you've already given them. You unlock the cage, at both cages for that matter. You have to jimmy the bone back out, and it takes a little bit of effort to do that, but you're able to do it. What do you say to the wolves to get them to escape again?
come on, follow me. He's a good wolfie. Don't kill the Scrags. And I'll have some more food in my hand, and I'll be just slowly coaxing them out with the food.
All right. Roll me another animal
with
handling
disadvantage?
with advantage this time, please.
Oh, with advantage. Okay.
No, with advantage.
All right, 1 second. Ooh.
Oh, good on the advantage. Okay. So, yeah, the wolves, they both kind of step out. They're not even being tentative about it, like a nervous twitch, kind of like a nervous wolf would be. They're just walking out as if they know you're the right person to be following, and away they go. They're out following you
I'll
all
bring
the
them
way
out
out
of
of
the
the
cave, and as soon as we get out, I will just throw some another ration, split it in half, and throw another ration into the forest, and leave it.
They actually get to the front entrance of the cave, and they kind of turn to look at you, and as you toss the food out into the forest, they do the curious dog look. Both of them do, just kind of at the exact same time, side by side, and they bolt out into the shade of the trees and are just gone.
Scrags will wipe a tear from his eye. I loved you, baby. Babies. And I'll come back into the cave.
All right, I'm gonna move us. I know we're looking at 20 right now, but yeah, I'm mostly in my head going by theater of the mind for the most part. So I'm gonna move us over into theater of mind mode. That's gonna be like so. Huzzah. Okay, so you guys begin to Scraggs, you come back to tell them. Do you give the key back? What do you do?
I'll drop the key back into his hands. No problem. Into Shimo's hands.
Oh, okay. That was an excellent effort. I commend you.
I'm not a terrible person. I'm a bad guy, but I'm not a bad guy.
Okay, Scraggs, you get yourself your DM inspiration for that for playing through that one. That was cool.
Yay.
Okay, and so in this regard, you now gather up Elred between you and this relatively strong young lady, and you guide them out the way that you came. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to look for or at while you were on your way out?
I don't believe I'd really be able to carrying Elrid.
Right, and you in particular, you're kind of like ushering everybody out. The 9-year-old is very much paying attention to you, but is also very much holding on to his, you would presume, grandmother's robes.
As we're going out, I will be trying to grab any weapon I can see.
Sure. You could easily see a scimitar or two. Are you grabbing them all?
I'm grabbing whatever I can.
Okay, well then you are
sell.
going to leave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to leave with 5 scimitars then. And
Okay.
I'm going to say you try to pick up a couple of crossbows, but you can only really manage the 5 scimitars and
Okay.
1 crossbow.
Right.
Are there crossbow bolts that I can pick up?
Totally, absolutely. You could easily pick some up off of their packs. And
How
you can
many?
replenish your stuff. Oh, why don't you roll a d20 and tell me how many you are able to uncover. Yeah, you get 10 more bolts for your pack.
All right.
You guys exit the cave, which has been very dark, except for the torch that now Brett is carrying around. And as you guys step out, it is midday-ish. And so the sun is still very much high up. It's actually a little bit behind the cave now. No, hang on. No, it is actually shining a little bit into the cave, but only about 5 or 10 feet. So you guys step out, and those of you who, especially those of you who have dark vision, you have to blink a little bit to adjust, and you step back out into the forest.
Excellent. I believe our number one priority here should be getting these fine people into the light of Yunlil and back to the city.
All right,
Yay,
so
nay.
this is
I'll
going to take
be grumbling.
a-
Oh, young Lil, I hate her so much.
and the older gentleman who was carrying the white coin, but black robes. He's the only one wearing black robes, really. He kind of walks up beside you, Scraggs, and hears you say that, and says, "Mind you, those Olivos peoples. Sometimes they have their value." And he kind of flips the white coin in his hand, and then just kind of steps away from you a little bit.
Is he doing it?
Survival check. Who wants to
Is
do
he
it?
flipping the coin the same way that I'm flipping my coin?
Very much so.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I have a high wisdom, but I am not proficient in survival. If someone can outdo me on that, I'll just help their survival.
I can give you guidance.
All right, let's go with that.
Can I also give him advantage?
So as you guys start,
like with the help action.
you're going to try and help. Yeah, absolutely. But and actually, I think the way it would work. It would actually be. It would probably have to be Bread doing it because so you're carrying the very limp body of Elric.
Right.
So I'd say if you wanted to, Bread, you could give yourself guidance, kind of trying to track your own path back. And
Do I need to track it, DM? I think I remember it.
that's right. You have keen mind. You could totally do that. Yeah. You. Never mind. You just.
I am the map.
Steps out in
Pull
front
out
of
some
you.
schematic.
And yeah, and you could kind of hear a little bit of a whirring sound, and then how do you tell them where you're going?
I don't DM. I just start walking in the right direction.
Oh, perfect. So
I just
everybody
I
just
was
kind of starts.
behind the party, behind the whole group, escorting them. Once we're out, I just kind of mune to the front, and I just start walking.
I'm definitely gonna follow.
Marvelous.
I'm
And
definitely gonna follow the little beeping friend.
the gentleman in the older gentleman in black cloak, he's noticing and just kind of steps. He's old enough that he's actually slowing you down. You can kind of hear him as he's kind of working his way through tree branches and making sure that his joints don't break because of a tree snapping into them.
Ooh.
He's old, um, but the rest of them, they seem to be moving quite fine. The 9-year-old it still is very. I'd say the 9-year-old stays within 10 feet of you the entire time. But make your way through the forest without incident. Shimo, as you're going through, you're pretty certain you hear something in one of the bushes, but as you turn to look, it's a squirrel, not the wolf you thought it was.
Excellent.
I'll be flipping my coin as I walk, kind of imitating the old man, the old timer.
I'll probably shriek, "Squirrel!"
All right, are you guys actually trying to be sneaky going through the forest at all?
Well, I shriek
I feel
like we
squirrel.
should.
So.
I don't know if we are.
Because if you are, you're going
I
to
would
slow down
say
a little bit.
we probably are just focusing on getting the townspeople back to town.
Shouldn't we be doing it safely though, by stealthing? Like how
I don't know.
how much sunlight do we have?
I don't know how
here?
stealthy we can be.
We have a lot
Lots.
of sunlight, so we could
Lots of sunlight. I mean, there's tree cover still.
won't be dark soon, so we could take the time to be
Well,
careful.
I'm also carrying someone, and we have a large group of people. I think stealthing is probably futile.
All right, we just walk then.
So Scraggs, you're noticing this older man. He's kind of going through. He's never got that coin out of his hand.
Hmm.
Scraggs, can I also get you to roll a quick perception check,
Yep.
please?
Why am I proficient in perception? Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go close to him and whisper, "Did she send you?"
And his head will kind of do this to look at you. I got some really nasty video issues going on there. That's better. Yeah, just kind of does this. Zabelna, you mean?
Well, I called her the mistress. She gets angry if I call her something else.
Interesting. It does sound like her. Yes, she's, I am here for her. Obviously, you must be too.
She's got me cornered like a rat. And she's making me do things.
Really? Have you spoken to her for a while?
Well, you could technically say I'm grounded as such because I've had a few problems. She gives me signs, and I'm pretty sure that box on legs is one of those signs.
It is not those signs.
No?
I am. She hasn't spoken to me for over a year.
Really? What's wrong with
And
her?
I'm beyond doing anything about it. I don't think that she is good right now. I haven't been able to and you haven't been able to contact her. If you're grounded, I think something's
No.
up.
Am I free?
Oh, I don't know about that. Knowing her as I do, she comes back, but not this long. Something's wrong.
Hmm.
I know of a place. It is the front of. Do you know where she resides?
Yeah, she likes to hear the clink of coins, and I'll take out coins and I'll clink them together.
When you take out your coins, you can't find yours.
I'll start patting my pockets. Where? And I'll
You mean this? And he hands
immediately.
it to you.
You, what are you doing? Give me my coin, and I'll try to grab it.
He just hands it over to you and he just gives it to you and chuckles. It's how I know you follow her too. And he presents you his. Just doesn't give it to you, groups it very tightly, but it's very much has the exact same visage. But his is a white coin.
You don't touch another man's coin. Don't you know that?
Don't you? And he's totally grinning. He thinks this is hilarious.
No, never done that before.
Shimo and you, I'm going to get you also to roll perception checks just to see how things. Elred won't perceive this, of course, because he's unconscious.
Doing this with guidance. Or, you know what? Doesn't matter. Never mind. I'm focused on the right way.
Okay. All right. And so, Chimo, you're able to kind of clock a little bit of this conversation as just as he's starting. You don't hear squat all. You're just like laser focused on getting them back to town. But you do hear him say, "That's true, but she has a home in the Fae. I've been looking for a way to see what happened to her." But and he kind of trips over a branches. As you could tell, I'm beyond much of my usefulness. But you seem to have some skill. Are you familiar with the carnival?
Carnival? I'm actually pretty new here, to be honest. I don't know.
Shimo, as soon as you hear the word carnival, some things kind of start to click in for you. I'm gonna pull it up here real quick. Shimo, you do remember a carnival. It was a long time ago that you saw this carnival, but you do remember this that there was this really dazzled carnival that you kind of had a run-in with when you were younger, much younger, before you'd even gotten to the
Well
temple.
then, I kind of slow down to be back with them and say, "Are you speaking of a woman in distress?"
And the hang on. Yeah, okay. The gentleman kind of turns to you and says, "Not sure."
Hmm. Well, once we get everyone back here, if you're not sure, I imagine we could certainly aid you in finding family members or loved
Oh,
ones.
this is certainly a loved one, but not family. Um, how familiar are you with the name Zybilna?
Can I roll an insight to see how familiar I
Yeah,
am?
you could. This would be a history or a religion check.
The moment,
And Scraggs, you could roll it too.
the moment that he says a loved one or a family member, I'll start laughing. History, you said.
I rolled
Yes.
a religion.
Okay. So, Scraggs, you're suddenly kind of concerned because who you thought they were talking about was not this person named Zabilna. You've never heard of them as this particular name. Shimo, on the other hand, with that very nice lovely little, both you guys had really nice rolls on that. Shimo, you don't so much recall the name Zabilna as it is that you recall the feeling that went with it. Just this feeling of joy and this feeling of sorrow all at once. This feeling of contentment and discontent. It's kind of this weird flurry of emotions that you have as you go through it, and you realize that what they're talking about is something that is worshipped outside the Olivos pantheon, something that is worshipped that is not smiled kindly upon by the Mystic Mother in Claymouth. Basically, a heretic thing.
I staunchly worship Yunlil. Things outside of the range of Yunlil have little interest to me. I'll not condemn you for your beliefs, but don't expect me to join in on them.
He turns to Scraggs and says, "How long have you known each other?"
Well, him, I wouldn't say we're friends or acquaintances. I'd say we're more strangers.
Oh, Scraggs, what are you talking about? You saved my life mere moments ago. We're good friends.
Does that mean you
And-
owe me?
Well, help me get these villagers back, and we'll see.
Oh, that means you owe me. I know things. Oh, you owe me a favor. Interesting.
I'm hoping that you can cash it in as I ask a favor of you. Scraggs is your name, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Scraggs. I am Madryck Ruslov. And
Right. How am I supposed to know you or something? Are you famous? Or I don't know.
not so famous as perhaps Bilna would prefer, but that's okay, because I'm going to ask you to check in on her. The carnival, it's supposed to be around here somewhere. This is how I got captured by the goblins in the first place. I am not at my best. But I do know that the carnival is supposed to be here, and inside the carnival is a way to Zybilna. But I have not been able to gain access.
Well, obviously, I want to check on the mistress, but I mean, these fine people here, they might need some paying. So let me negotiate with you payment for their
Well, that wouldn't
services.
be a problem. That would not be a problem. As you could tell, and he's looking really wore out, I'm not much longer for this world. I've had a good time. Others can perhaps take up my mantle, as it were. I do have a small treasure, we'll call it, that I have collected from my own time working for Zybilna over the years. I would have no need of it once I am no longer of this world.
You can't see me, but you can obviously hear me just grinning inside my hood. A big grin
I
comes.
love how your
across,
grin has
yeah.
a sound. I appreciate
Big
that.
grin
Like a-
comes across my face.
Uh,
Treasure.
And as as the grin gets bigger, he kind of leans it over to you and says, I have this. You are a fan of gemstones. I would say 500 gold worth gemstones should be helpful to grease their wheels, wouldn't you?
500. Yeah, 500. Let me tell my companions. And I kind of go over to them. And,
Well, I don't know.
are they hearing what we're saying?
He also Shimo would. What was your perception? No, Shimo would have heard all that. Yeah.
Because I would go over and say to them that we're being offered 100 gold pieces worth of gemstones to do a quest.
Scrags,
Yeah.
under
Shimo,
the
you heard.
light of Yunlil, honesty is the best policy.
All right, let's split the money 4 ways, right? 400 for me, 100 for you. That's fair.
What
Isn't it?
about 125 for me and you? You, not you. You. It's you.
I'm lost. Who are you?
Oh, Brett, I
Who
hate
are
it.
you?
I love it.
Who am I? What? You.
That would put us at 250. And you've done very generous things for us. What if you keep 250? And Elrid, in his critical condition, more than likely can do very little with some gemstones at the moment.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He doesn't need anything.
At this point in time, you've made yourself back out onto the trail. You've turned back, and there's nobody behind you.
Me?
You're too quick for us.
Yep.
Oh no. I retraced my steps today.
You take about 5 minutes, and then you can actually hear the trundling
5
sounds
minutes.
of the people that you were guiding, and kind of, and you guys actually now realize you was gone. You were just walking, and the you was a little bit off course from where you were, but you was able to find you and gather you all back in.
Thank you for coming back to us, you. I don't know if I knew the way myself.
Why did our pace slow down? Were we not in good condition?
We've got
No.
we have a much older gentleman traveling with us, as well as young here. Our speed and carrying a paladin is no easy feat, especially a dragonborn one.
Unfortunate. But very well, we have much sunlight left. We will slow down our pace. Just to ensure that everyone is accounted for.
And then,
Like,
and in about 5 minutes, you guys break through the trees and are back onto the red trail as you were hoping to be fairly soon, and now have easy travel, well lit, all the way back into.
I recheck everyone that's with us, DM. Is everyone still here now? Okay, just making
Yep.
sure. Where are we going?
Yeah. Madryck kind of looks to the two of you, Scrags and Shimo, and says, "There's much more than simply that, but I cannot give it to you until I know that Sibilna is where she should be."
We'll do your
You
job.
want?
Shimo.
Sorry, I was just. I don't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to say makes perfect sense. If we do this job, then as long as you're still in this world with us, then we can sort things out.
You won't have to worry about whether or not I'm still with you. This world, I have associates, we'll call them, who are required to do my bidding past my consciousness.
That's excellent. A man of influence.
As it were. Perhaps not as much as I wish, but enough. Enough to part of this arrangement. Can we get to town?
Oh,
I'm
of
very
course,
tired.
of course.
And he just starts walking towards town a little bit ahead of you guys.
And I'll kind of like stumble up with Elrid, like, oh, so heavy.
So, as you guys get closer and closer to town, you'll be the first one to see it, but you will be able to see the gate to town, which of course is not really much of a gate, more of a shack that somebody stands at, and the Goliath guard that was there is still on shift, and he notices you immediately, and he just kind of gesture as you guys walk up. I see you guys were successful. Sort of. And he looks at Elred. Is he going to survive?
We believe he's stable.
All
Oh,
right.
sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you.
Worry not. It would be better if you took this. And then I actually moved to the back of the party.
Took the Dragonborn. I suppose I could. And he goes and lifts up Elred out from underneath Shimo and this lady's grasp, and just kind of princess carries him into town.
Over the
and
marriage
he's-
threshold.
Yeah, exactly, right in town. And he kind of leans over to another fella who is just wearing the Azure Shield garb there. Young kid, still has lots of pimples on his face. Just says, "I'll be back as quick as I can." Okay, and away they go. So he takes you directly to the keep in town, and here I'm gonna pull up the right file. I can't get these pages to work fast enough for me. My brain is moving faster than my fingers, apparently. Okay, so yeah, it takes you up to the central keep that's in town, and you kind of nod at a. Sorry, guys. You kind of nod at this halfling, who is kind of just inside the main walls of the keep. You guys are now walking into this keep. The keep itself has the wooden walls that kind of enclose the whole keep, so it's and the wooden walls have a gatehouse at the very front. Right outside the gatehouse is a large clearing that is obviously used for some revelries that might happen as a town event kind of thing. You guys, in order to get there, you kind of walk past this fountain that is on the outside of the wall. It's not inside with the key. It's outside the wall. But this fountain has this depiction of a dancing shark of all things, and it's just spewing water out, much like a cherub in a water fountain. But it's also very, very well kept. There's like no moss. It's super clean water coming out of it. You notice this as you walk into the wall, past the walls, and the cathedral is the first thing you see. But you also, as you walk, you don't go into the cathedral. You turn to the right, and on the right-hand side is a much more it's still very opulent compared to every other building in Rogu, but it is a much more modest attachment that was put onto the cathedral. And you guys are brought into this particular building, labeled Azure Shield House over the top. And you walk in and immediately are greeted by a halfling who comes to you, and they are. Yeah, they just come straight up to you, to the Goliath, and says, What happened? And Goliath says, as he puts Elred down onto a table, and the halfling calls out and says, "And for Olga," and so somebody, some attendant, kind of runs into what you would assume the direction of the cathedral would be, and this halfling says to you, "Who are you?" As looking particularly at Shimo.
Well,
first.
we are the adventurers, the heroes who have brought these townspeople back from the depths of a goblin cave filled with all kinds of menacing creatures.
Oh, you're the ones. Okay. Well, Milivent is still, I think, over at the Broken Bone. So if you wanted to go and take the family back there and then come back, we could talk. Very fast-speaking person.
That's an excellent idea. We'll be right back. I do hold a promissory note of reward for the safe return of the people.
He looks up to the god. Now, this is like the halfling and the Goliath. Okay. He looks up to the Goliath and he says, "I know." And the Goliath looks very sheepish.
Excellent. I'm glad we're all on the same page here.
I will send for somebody who can help your friend. What do I call him?
He is Elrid.
And it's as he kind of steps towards Elred to kind of do a quick cursory look that he notices that there's other people behind you, and clocks Scrags and you. You're all together?
Yes, we are all together.
All right. I have your friend. Come back. And he just kind of starts moving things around in this facility to try and make it so that there's not as many papers in the way. There's not things preventing work on Elred, if you will.
Okay, then I would like to go back to the group of people we brought in and ask them, who here is the family members of Milivent?
They all, except for the gentleman, the 22-ish-year-old gentleman, he's the only one who's. They're all. I just belong to her, and he points to the girl that helped you carry Elred in.
Well, certainly. If you need to return to Milivent, please follow me. I will take you to her.
As you do so, the two 20-ish-year-olds kind of fall and step beside them and start bumping shoulders as they're walking down with you to wherever you are taking them, which is to where?
Which is to wait. The halfling told us where she was, correct?
Yes, the Broken Bowl is what he said.
Broken Bowl. Then to the Broken Bowl we go. I'm going to write that down, so if you ask again, I know the name of it.
All right. So, do you know where the Broken Bowl is?
Is it near the lower income district?
No. Let's do you an investigation check and see if you can, or get you to roll an investigation check. See if you can quickly locate it, because you are the one that is walking with confidence.
Confidence.
Indeed, you do. Because what you will have realized is the Broken Bull, kind of thinking a little bit more about what Milivent had said, she had pointed out a building. You didn't really notice much of the building because you were really intent on getting out to help her family. But then you realize, as you're trying to think where the heck would this location be, you get to the realization it's got to be on this main thoroughfare. So away you go, up and down that main thoroughfare, and you don't have to go up and down, you just go up, and you find it very darn quickly. And it's the reason why you didn't really realize that it was actually a tavern or a location at all of any value was because the sign literally just has the depiction of a broken bowl on it.
Well, this must be the place.
No words, just a broken bowl.
Okay, well, I'm going...
So
yep,
you can
I'm
step
going to step in. Does you and Scrags follow me?
Yeah, I'll
I
follow.
would like to stay with Elred.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna stay with
You're gonna
Elred.
stay with Elred, you? Okay. All right. Let's split the party. Sure. Why not? Okay. So this is, um, Scrags and Shimo. You guys, Scrags, are you going with Shimo and the group too?
Yeah, I'm going with Shimo.
Okay. So is Madryck. Madryck is going with you. Kind of mentions that the Broken Bowl seems like a good place for now, and you all make your way into this Broken Bowl Tavern. So you get to the structure. It's a clay and brick structure. It is. You step in, and it's got relatively large dining hall, tables with benches or chairs in various locations. Some of the tables are a little bit longer. You can see they're kind of used for larger gatherings of some sort. Um, it doesn't. While it's a large and kind of open space, it's kind of darkly lit. It is. It's also smells a little bit. It has a very. It's not briny, but it is definitely dank. Like the water's been in the floorboards for too long. And in one corner, you do happen to notice that there is what is obviously a fighting ring of some sort. Um,
Mm.
you don't really know much more about it than that, but there is a fighting ring there. But as you step in, you see also the bar to one side, and the bar behind the bar is a human male, um, around 35, 34-ish years old, um, and he very dark skin, which is unusual for every other human being that you or creature you have seen in this town so far. And you immediately notice also, with that wonderful investigation and high rules that you've been having all day, he's missing an ear, missing his left ear. Yeah, so you guys step in, and this is what you see.
Okay. May I walk up to the dark-skinned man? All right. I'm definitely going to loop around to his hearing side and say, "Hail, friend. I'm searching for Milivent. Do you know of her?"
And he says this in a very deep accent that I will not be able to replicate without being particularly rude. But it is very much kind of like a Nigerian type of accent. But his accent comes to you and says, Milivent, hurt lady with baby. That's who you're talking
Yes.
about, right? She's
Indeed.
upstairs. I will fetch her.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Madryck! And kind of turns over his shoulder, looks toward the back corner, says, it just kind of shouts. You kind of hear this kind of a deeper high voice with a little bit of an overtone, higher overtones on it. Yeah. Can you please fetch Milivent for me? And yeah. No food yet? Nobody's ordered. Fine. And that's it. That's all you hear at this point in time. I'm going to switch gears back over to you for just a brief moment. So you stay at Elred. Is there anything in particular you're doing with Elred as this is all happening?
I would just like to observe what exactly they're doing to my comrade DM.
At the moment, they're just clearing space, trying to make it so that it's really, really easy for whoever is going to be doing something important with him, does so. After a little bit, probably by the time just before the other two actually get to the Broken Bowl Tavern, about a 36-year-old lady, human, comes in as well, and she walks up to him, to Elred, and looks at you and says, "Are you his?"
Ownership is not a matter which I will be discussing. However, I am affiliated with this individual and will be staying with them for the time being.
Right. Okay. And she just kind of turns over to Elred and is just kind of examining him and looking at him, not touching, just kind of hearing what all has happened. What kind of weapon was it? Morning
was
Star
in the
with your keen mind.
Morning Star. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, he was struck with a
Bugbear.
morning star
Got angry.
by a bugbear. Pardon me, before you proceed, what exactly just took place?
He will say, the halfling will pipe up and say, "Forgiveness. That's just who she is."
That
She
does
kind of
not
looks
explain
over to you.
much.
And, sorry, no, it's been a thing I've had my whole life. I've always been olfactory. And the halfling looks to you. It doesn't stop her from being able to help him. But yeah, she's a little odd. You are
I
meeting some of the
stay
most interesting
close.
characters in Roro, just to be clear. And you're meeting them alone.
Right. Okay. I will stay very close to just stay close to the body. Just to see what continuing to see what exactly they'll be doing. Is there like a change in the way that she moves DM after the whole sneezing thing, or was it just a fit and it?
As far as you could tell, it was just this fit that just started happening. And as she's kind of exploring, the halfling's looking up in some books as well, just kind of going through some ledgers of some sort. And she, as over the course of the next, well, we'll see how long time, but over the course of the next little bit, she just bursts out into these sneezes, sometimes in the middle of a sentence.
Is that normal? It's not normal. I know it's not normal. Do I know any other cases of this DM?
You could roll a medicine check, or nature check if you wanted to.
Miss, are you okay? You're probably not, huh? I will
Is she
fine tune
allergic
myself
to
just to
bugbears?
think about this. And the
You are not
guidance.
familiar with this intensity of with the guy. Yeah, nice. You're not familiar with this intensity of sneezing. Like people get colds, people get allergies even at specific times of the year, and you've been able to notice that you've gone through a lot of trees that have lots of opportunity for pollen. I mean, there was kind of pollinated evidence of the pollination all over the place, but nothing like this, and not as often as she's going through either.
I asked the halfling DM, has she ever considered getting checked herself?
She could. She could just as easily ask Olga, but she, you know these priestesses. They're always very proud people.
Pride will not be good in aiding my comrade. And I go back to just intently staring at her. What's happening?
Alright. As so we're gonna switch back over to the other two. I lost Carney Circus, so hopefully they'll pop back in here shortly. But in this other facility back at the Broken Bowl, you do see coming down from a set of stairs kind of nearby the fighting circle, in comes Milivant, and the rest of the family just notices her and swarms her. Especially the 9-year-old, just like beelines it and attaches himself to her waist. And Madryck looks on and says, Well, that's heartwarming. How much for a room? And the gentleman behind the bar says, for how long? Um, start with 1 night. Well, then that would be 5 copper. No food, though. That's fine. And kind of looks to Scrags and then to Shimo and then says, I forgot. I have none of my wealth with me. Could you spare some copper?
Oh, but of course. How much would food in addition cost?
Well, a silver. A total of silver. 1 silver would cover for you for room and board for... Well, certainly until you have to vacate tomorrow.
Certainly. Here is 1 silver for the family.
Oh, no, you don't need to worry about the family. The family has been taken care of. This would be for you, I would assume. And he's looking at
Oh.
Madryck, and Madryck's... Well, that's what I was hoping for, yes. That was very generous of you.
Well, 1 silver it is for myself.
For okay, so for yourself or for yourself and Madryck?
And Madryck.
Okay, so this... Okay, so then if it's for the both of you... No, that still works. You guys can... Hang on. Mordred, and out comes from the back of this the kitchen area behind the bar comes a dwarf whose name I'm pretty certain, yeah, it is. She's very heavily bearded but still very effeminate nonetheless. She is she kind of looks up to Shimo and says, "Ah, there's a tall drink of water. What can I do for you?" A room. Room number 3, if you will, please. A room? Are you staying alone by chance?
I would like to look to Scrags, but his voice has disappeared.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him a quick message and be like, hey, are you still there? I think. I can spell her name on here. There we go. Okay, cool. So, I will cover Scrags for the time being, although if we need to retcon stuff, we can.
Okay.
Okay.
Scrags, do you need a room as well?
Scrags will say, it will turn to Madryck and ask, oh, there's Scrags. We'll let Scrags decide. Hang on. There we go. All right, so Scrags, welcome back.
Yeah, I do not
I
have
had
an
just...
outside.
Oh,
I
and you
just
are not
asked...
making sound for us. You, I'm not getting sound. Are you
I
guys
can
getting
hear
sound?
him. Yeah, I can hear him.
Can you hear
Okay.
me? Okay.
I can hear you. Yay. Okay, we're good.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. So I turn to Scrags and say, do you need room and board here as well? I would be happy to put up front for you.
Yeah, I don't have any money.
Which
And
is
I'll put
perfect
my hand
because
behind my
Madryck
back
just said that too.
immediately.
1 silver for Scrags as well.
Then
Thank
the
you.
barkeep will turn to this dwarf and say, then room 3 and they can figure out who's staying in which one. And the dwarf says, so perhaps the 2 of you, and he points to Madryck and Scrags, the 2 of you could share a room, and the tall one here could have one to themselves, you think?
That seems fair to me. I am, after all, paying for all of these rooms.
That you are. And
That's all
we'll have
right.
to see what happens this eve.
Indeed.
I
Well,
Oh, sorry.
Scrags, I've taken quite a bit of piercing to my torso and face this afternoon, I would like to turn in. You may do as you please.
Would you like some help with
Oh,
bandages?
thank you, master.
Well, I would love some help with my bandages. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And so she takes 2 keys out from underneath from around the corner of the door into the kitchen, and she starts leading the 3 of you, being Shimo, Scrags, and Madryck, upstairs. And as you get upstairs, there are rooms and a variety of. It's kind of a strange. It's not like one hallway with rooms on either side, like your standard modern hotel room. No, it's a very winding path up the stairs to get to the various rooms, and she takes you around a corner and one room on one side, one room on the exact opposite side, room 3 and room 4. And so which one are you going to be taking, love?
A 3 sounds good to me.
And then she just kind of doesn't even look towards Scrags or Madryck and just like puts her hand out to try to drop the key into somebody's hand without looking. Just, I can help with that. And just drops it into Scrags' hand. And opens up the door and walks into your room, Shimo.
Excellent. I will follow her in as she's kindly agreed to bandage me up.
All right.
As she just
Scrags.
ignores me, I'm kind of like waving my hand saying, "Hello, I'm here. Hello, can you see me?" And she ignores me. Yeah, I'll go to my room and immediately I want to leave and go somewhere.
Okay. Now Madryck is now settled down, going into the room as well with Scrags. And I lost you again, Scrags, somehow. There we are, back again. Okay, gotcha. In any case, Madryck steps into the room and says, "So this circus, I don't know where to begin except to say that it's supposed to come into the area soon. But I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Can we discuss this in the morn?"
Yeah, actually, I wanted to find somewhere to sell these, and I just opened my cloak and show loads of scimitars just hanging down.
And he says,
So
"Oh,
I got some stuff to sell.
I have no idea what to recommend there. Just be careful of your visage. That's all."
I'm
he turns
always
into-
careful of my visage. What are you talking about? Okay, not now. And I'll leave and I'll go outside to find somewhere I can sell the weapons I
Shimo-
nicked.
Perfect. So Shimo, you go. Greg says you're heading out. Shimo, this dwarf is very handsy, and very much doing everything they can to not only just bandage you, but maybe go a little bit further into something that you realize is no longer medicinal.
I'm going to take the dwarf by the hands in a very like gentle, like sensual way, you know, where you cup both their hands together and lean in and say, "There's a love inside you, is there not?"
Aye, there is that.
Well, I can truly see yon little shines from your face. You're here for my sermon, are you not?
Okay. Aye, lad, I am.
Excellent.
What
I only
wares
know it
can
in
we explore?
Well, I hope you're prepared. I've been preparing all my life for this moment.
And her eyes are going a little bit wider now. She rolled a 10. Meant it could go either way. I was just talking about for the afternoon, sir.
Oh, not a problem. This will not take too long. And I pull out my flute.
okay. She's like, well, I haven't been wooed for a long time. Why don't we go for this?
I'm definitely
She kind of
going to
leans on the edge of the bed. She sits on the edge of the bed and she's like, in her beard.
I'm definitely going to play the least sensual, most religious, most Yunlil song that I know,
Marvelous.
and I'm going to.
Oh. Okay, let me just see something here real quick. That's kind of actually impressive.
I was hoping for less.
That's so you're trying to go for this least sensual, least seductive, very religious version of flute playing. Scrags, just before you start to head out, you are able to clock some absolutely gorgeous flute music. You are convinced that if you actually were to think along these lines, whoever plays that flute must be amazing in bed. As is the dwarf. The dwarf is just hanging on to his. Poor lad, that's got the juices flowing to be sure, and she just kind of tackles you to try to engage, if you will.
I'm gonna like pull her back and say, "I can preach to you from here. It is okay. Let me tell you more of Yunlil. There's much to be said. Please."
And I'm gonna pause us there. Scraggs is gone, so when Scraggs gets back, I don't know, it must have some strange connection stuff going
Yeah.
on. But I'm gonna switch over to you, who has been waiting patiently for me. The halfling comes to you and says, "How long have you known this dragonborn?"
Where is the answer to this? Hmm. Hmm. Uh, less than just about 2 weeks. Not long. However, they have served well with regards for my safety, so I would prefer if their health was well taken care of.
Oh, it is being very well taken care of. Just seems odd that we don't have him on file anywhere. Maybe he does just keep his nose clean, but he smells of the sea.
On file, you say? Well, we have been doing some traveling, and he has told me some stories of his time out at sea.
He is a sailor.
I'm not sure if I should be disclosing this information.
He looks at you. Fair enough. Nonetheless, he should wake anytime soon. We have to ask him questions. We can. What are your intentions here in town?
I also cannot disclose that information. And I squint.
Now he's got his eyebrow highly raised. That is concerning, being as, on the other hand, and he looks like he's just kind of going through a whole bunch of thoughts all at once. You helped this Moss family, and now you don't know what you're doing here, but you are here.
I never said that I do not know.
And you came in with a very unscrupulous-looking individual, an elf, and a dragonborn of green natures. But this isn't a green dragonborn, it's a different dragonborn. So confused.
May I advise that you do not think too much about it? After all, I believe your job is specific to aiding my friend.
My job is the caretaking of all of Ramu, and to a certain extent beyond, and reporting back to Claymouth about it. So you're telling me that I should not be concerned in the slightest?
Hmm. There are some goblins out in that direction, and I like, I go on. I give very specific details on where the cave is. Perhaps that would be of interest to you.
And so he's like, this is a 10-minute explanation. He's taking notes all the way through the whole thing. Like, I would like you to roll a persuasion check with advantage, then, please, because of the number of notes that you just made him take.
Okay. A 20 DM.
Nice. Okay. He is now. He looks up to you and he's like, "You said ownership is not the thing for you to discuss. Is this because ownership is not a thing for you?"
As a service droid, it is in fact something that I must take into account. However, my current ownership is not something I can discuss.
Okay. So you're here because your owner directed you to. Interesting. Okay. And then if that's the case, how long are you here for?
I
Or do you
There's
know?
this prolonged silence before you actually replies, just like, that is not information that I can disclose. And he turns back to just staring at Elred's body.
Hmm. Well, as long as this Dragonborn is here, um, and if you guys are interested, there will likely be a need of your assistance later on in Roru in ways that, unfortunately, I'm just not staffed to manage. You met my, at least one of my guard. I don't have many, and there, as you have said, are many things running afoul. Perhaps the carnival might be interesting to you, though. It looks to me like you guys will deserve a bit of a break.
Did you just not make mention of things running amok? Why now are you presenting the opportunity for vacation?
Well, I'm not really certain about this carnival, to be honest. It's told to be coming our way from Claymouth. But people seem to lose things when they visit this carnival. But they also have a lot of fun, and they bring some good coin to town. So it's this catch-22 of, do I let the carnival park outside, or do I ask that they leave? And if I do ask them to park outside, what are we going to lose? You happen to be willing to, keep your eye out for pickpockets or something like that while you're there. I'm not going to argue. Oh, that reminds me. And he goes back to the cupboard behind him. He says, kind of pull. You can hear some clanking of coin. Comes back to you and says, "Your friend said that you had that promissory note. Do you have it, or does he have it?"
He has it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll hold on to this, but I have it ready. And I have a little bit more if you are able to make sure that this carnival's not going to cause Roru problems.
This information has been noted. I will pass this on to the other members of the group.
At this point in time, Elred is stirring awake. Just not really fully conscious, but he's definitely moving. And so he's kind of, the movements are kind of directing your attention away from the halfling now. And in that same vein, the human lady is saying, "Lucky to be alive. Alaris must have had something really special planned for him."
I nod my little robot head. Or like I bob it.
Alright, so Shimo, we're going to switch back to you for a brief moment.
Excellent.
In the interest of trying to resolve this without having to go into too much sordid detail, I'm going to request that you roll either a persuasion or an insight check, if you will, for me, please.
Let's see.
depending on what you want to do. Persuasion, if you want to convince this person to follow you, Lil, through your very unique seductive flute playing, or you to realize that this is not actually what they're here for, and therefore make some appropriate decisions from that.
Yeah. Insight.
Yeah. Okay. You are pretty convinced this person is into Yunlil and is hanging on your every word. But it is so engrossed in the concept of Yunlil that she can't even hold back her body.
I see Yunlil controls you in the way that Yunlil controls me. We're all bound and influenced to do as she pleases.
I have no idea who she is, but if she causes this kind of pleasure, she can join in, laddie. And
Oh, you don't know of Yunlil? You don't know her by name? Well, let me tell you more.
so over the course of this next, I'm going to say an hour it takes before things start to really get tense. And she's actually trying to help you doff your clothing handily. And after about an hour, she starts just like, "We're not gonna do this, but laddie or not."
Oh, of course. Are you planning to worship Yunlil from here? Are you traveling to the monastery? I can help in any way that you need.
I am the right height already, and she just immediately strips herself right down.
Shimo's face is gonna go white and just be like, I was not prepared for that.
Have at her.
At this point, Shimo's, I assume, knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, now
Even
you
at
do.
that.
Now you...
Why don't you wait here while I get myself prepared? I just have a couple of things to grab in assistance that Yunlil has willed.
Right, laddie. She just like swan dives onto the bed and just Burt Reynolds herself on the bed for you. In the meantime, Scrags, could you please roll for me? Oh, let's see here. I'm going to give you choices. You tell me what kind of a check you would like to do to try to sell or hawk some of these random people on the street. Or you can also see if you can find a shop that might buy or use them.
Yeah, I'd probably go to a shop. It's the
Okay.
easiest way to fence stuff, I suppose. Just one
Okey-doke,
thing,
go ahead.
when you said about, because my connection keeps disconnecting.
Yeah.
When you said that about you heard the music and that guy knows, he must be great in bed. I would say, that guy knows how to play his pipe, indeed. As I'm walking past,
Alrighty.
and I'm
And so,
waggling
I guess
my
you'll
eyebrows,
see-
big grin on my face.
Gonna get your roll for me an investigation check, if you would, please.
Okay.
Okay, it's not bad. So you kind of start walking around town, little bits of clanking coming from the scimitars that you have under your cloak. It's the sun is starting to get kind of lower in the sky, but you do manage to find. Pardon me. Um, this where kind of follow a bit of a smoke stack of some sort, and oh, rats, where is my notes on it? It's gone. Yeah, the technology is not our friend today.
I suppose I would be saying as I'm going past, get your goblin weapons here. Real, authentic goblin weapons. Very ethnic. Guaranteed
Okay.
to kill one
Okay.
human before. Get your goblin weapons.
Round two, give me a quick. Let's go with a quick persuasion check. General persuasion.
Ah. Ooh. And I'm not even using any
Okay.
guidance.
So, interestingly enough, interestingly enough, before you actually even get to any shops, there's a kind of an older fella who, like older, not as old as Madryck, not as old as the other fella with the Moss family, but weathered. And you're now walking through the dock district, trying to find some place that might actually work. And he comes to you and says, "Goblin maid, do you? Can, how much are you selling them for?"
12 gold. I don't even
pardon
know
me,
what number I should be
say that
saying.
again, please. So scimitar, generally speaking, I think generally, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have my player's handbook with me here, but usually a scimitar tends to go around like 10 gold, I think, right? So
Well, a regular scimitar, not made by goblins, would be 25.
oh, okay, so I'm totally
25
undershooting. How
gold?
marvelous. Yeah. Okay, so
But this
if that's
is
the case,
cultural. This is
you say
ethnic.
12
This is worth
12
even more.
gold. 120 gold is what you're asking
12D.
for. How many do you have?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I have exactly 6, and I'll even throw in a free crossbow.
Okay, cool. For 120 gold. He's actually thinking about this.
Oh, look,
All right.
look. I promise. They even killed a paladin, a dragonborn paladin. One of those new green ones that shoots things. Very powerful he was.
All right. So, tell you what I will do. I only need one scimitar. I only have these hands. I would very much appreciate the ability to buy one of these scimitars off of you, and I will happily provide you with 10 gold.
I'll do even better than that, mate. I got me here, look, and one of the scimitars, I'll obviously take one and put it around my back and pull it out the other side and say, have you heard of Drizzt? This used to be his. This was his training scimitar when he was a little baby. 10 gold, yours. Go on.
10 gold it is, and he pulls out 10 gold out of his pouch, and he hands over 10 gold for you for the scimitar.
Nice.
I have no idea who this Drizzt person is.
Come on. Drizzt? A famous guy. Don't worry, he's famous.
So Drizzt
Lovely
is
chap.
actually not famous at all in
Very nice.
all of us yet, hey? Above board, he's not actually involved in all of us.
Well, he could have been famous.
All right.
Anyway, bye
You've now
bye.
just made
And I'll
yourself 10
just
gold.
scurry around the corner.
So there is no other luck finding a place that will actually do any sales or anything like that. Everything else is now closed down for the night. But there is a murmur. Roll me a perception check. See if you can tell what it is. There is a murmur.
I would like to use guidance.
This one would be not really one that you would already know in advance, so you can't guide it.
Oh.
You don't need it. So, your perception, as you're kind of walking through town, you hear the occasional mention of a circus. and that in one
Mm.
person you hear looks to be like a page of some sort or a messenger or some sort. Um, that as you're walking by, you hear them say something about arriving uh, not tomorrow night.
Right. Okay. I'm kind of wondering now, should I use these scimitars as a way of bribing people? Instead of paying with gold, I'll just pay in scimitar.
You try.
Is there some sort of a currency transaction for that? Yeah. Okay. There's no armory. There's no.
Too small of a
Metalsmith?
town. Too small of a town, unfortunately. Actually,
Do I
hang on.
see?
Let me just
Do I
double check
see any
something here on the
urchins
metalsmith.
around who look like they've had some fun with scimitars?
There are merchants around, but there's not lots with regards to. Hang on, I'm just gonna pull something up here, make sure I'm not missing a piece of information. I feel like I was. But most of the merchants. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There is a puff of cloud that's coming from nearby the outfitters where you guys stored those two horses, Harry and Styles. There is a puff of smoke that comes from there. So, but it's as you get there, it's already closed up. It's getting later on in the day now. The other locations that you can find, there is a general store.
Do I think that they'll
that
be
is
open
nearby the
tomorrow?
wall keep. You get the sense that they would be
Okay.
open on a regular basis. Just that the smoke is kind of slowing down, so they obviously are just trying to shut things down or have already done so. But there is a general store kind of right nearby the keep. You could always go to that general store if you wanted to.
Okay, I'll try to go there.
Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Let's get to that page then. So as you approach the general store, let's see here. Oh, it didn't save all my information. How marvelous. Okay, we're gonna do this on the fly then. Here we go. This is an NPC I have not created yet, so we're doing it right now. Okay, so as you step in to this, it's just a simple establishment. It does say Otto's General Store. Otto spelled O-D-O. And so as you step in, it's got some very simple wares in here: foods, burlap sacks, ropes, basic adventuring gear, super basic everything for the most part. There isn't even any weapons on walls or leathers or armors or anything like that. It is basically your corner convenience store kind of concept in terms of what it carries inside it. And the halfling that operates this building is kind of facing products, if you will, just trying to make sure that they're really easily seen from all places of the room. We're just begging your pardon. I'm just about to close up shop, actually. Is there anything in particular I can help you out quickly with?
Yeah. Yes. I've got a bit of a problem. My dad, he's very sick. He's dying, and I'm trying to sell the family heirlooms. They're very famous, and I was hoping to sell them here so I can get money to get him some medicine. My poor daddy, he's so sick. Please
What kind
help
of medicine
me.
is he hoping
Please.
for? Like what kind of sick?
Plague.
And he immediately takes like 10 steps back
Boils.
away from you. Your best bet then is not this shop.
Oh no, I'm protected. I'll take out one of the gold the vials that I have. This is magic medicine that protects you from picking it up. But once you got it, you gotta get special medicine from the healer. And that's
Then your best bet is
expensive.
probably the healer. Yes, indeed. You have to go to the Dazzling Frog. I don't have the kind of funds to purchase heirlooms. That's not the kind of thing I do. But if
No,
you
no, no.
need the
I'm
medicine, maybe
sure
you can make
you
a deal
do.
with the Dazzling
Look,
Frog.
I just have some. No, just look at the scimitars. They're lovely. They're
Their scimitars,
lovely.
they're definitely
My,
out
my,
of my league.
my dad got them in the war. No, no,
Apologies.
no. I'm sure you can afford them. This shop looks very nice.
You're kind,
Oh,
but no, this is not the place.
but just a few go. Come on. What's the worst that can happen? Trust me.
Do I need to fetch the guard?
No, no.
This is not the place.
Wait, there's no need to go that far. I'm just. All right, all right, all right. Do you have a recommendation of a place to sell weapons?
Well, if you need weapons, just the forge can help repair them and sell them themselves. They don't consign. Your best bet for consignment would probably be to go up north to
Do,
Weymouth.
what time is the forge open tomorrow?
Oh, it will be, of course. So will the Dazzling
Tomorrow
Frog when you get
morning, is it
for your
open?
medicine.
Oh yeah. My dad. Yeah. Sure, medicine. Yeah. Well, he's not actually here. He's in a different place.
Not already gone, is he?
All right. Well, no. He's alive. He's alive with plague. Terrible plague.
And as you carry on with this conversation, you realize
I'll
very
see you
quickly.
tomorrow.
Yeah, realize very quickly it's not gonna happen. You got one sold though.
Yeah.
So
Oh, my poor dad. Oh my god. I walk out
you
crying.
and Elrid. Elrid is now coming back to consciousness, and what happened?
You're finally awake. Well, we've retrieved all the individuals in the Goblin Cave, and now we are here. The others have gone over to a resting area. How are you feeling, Elrid?
Like a bugbear smacked me with a morning star. How do you think I feel? Okay. And where are we exactly? And this is when the halfling pipes up. You're in the Azure Shield house in Roru. Do you know where Roru is? He looks to you, and he says, "We know each other, right?"
He looks at media.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be affirmative.
And we know each other too, right? He turns to the halfling. By this point in time, the human is now gone. The priestess is now sneezing in a different building. But the halflings, no, you took a mighty wallop. We are not acquainted yet. I apologize, and now I have to find my names list again. My name is Nebin Shadowquick. And what's your name, please? I don't recall. Turns to you and says, "We know each other. You know who I am. Who am I? Who am I?" He starts starting to flip out.
While he's flipping out, I'm gonna ignore him real quick and turn to the halfling. Are you sure there were no problems with that priestess?
Nebin's like, She told me she didn't even actually. Honestly, she wasn't really trying to do anything. You guys had already done everything for him. She was just trying to make sure that he wasn't somebody we've been looking for, and he's not. But still, I like I I- I'm sorry. Your friend looks like he's lost his memory. All might only be temporary. You know that Goliath you've met? He's been whopped a couple of times too. Can't remember his name for an hour, but then is back to normal again with his same stupid self.
It is a bit alarming, but also noted. I turn to.
And Elred's now sitting up on the tables. What's my name?
I kind of like make him come down lower so I can whisper the answer. Elrid Spartax. You should take note of this for the next hour or so, in case anyone else asks. However,
Paper?
reminder not to give your name out to everyone.
Okay, and the halfling hands some paper over to Elred, and Elred starts scrawling something out. You're looking at what he's scrawling, and it is completely illegible. There is nothing legible about what he's just done. That's not what I wrote. And he tries again. He's like, I keeps on trying to write something, and the writing doesn't happen. It's just chicken scratch. And that is where I actually have to stop it.
What happened to him?
So Albert doesn't know this too either. We're gonna have to really talk to him about this. Nonetheless, you guys are back in Roru. You're probably all very shortly going to take a long rest, my guess, because you still haven't done that yet,
Right.
and y'all in a bad shape. So, but that's where we're gonna pick up next week, is with this interesting development of Elred not really knowing who or what he is, and not being able to write. Apparently.
Also, my new guess on what Scrags is a trickery domain goblin cleric.
No.
It's my new guess.
No. That's just no.
Alrighty.
That's just no.
Well, with that, guys, we're going to sign off on Twitch and on the YouTube. Thank you guys very much for kind of going through our strange series of technological issues. But, have a good one. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you
So
for the game.
long.